Have you ever tried to hold on to someone who's already gone? Like grasping smoke, the tighter you cling, the faster it escapes. The mind spirals. What did I do wrong? Could I have changed the ending? We torture ourselves with questions that have no answers. But maybe healing doesn't come from finding answers. Maybe it begins when we stop asking the wrong questions. We all know that invisible weight, the ache of unfinished goodbyes, the replaying of old messages, the silent war between reason and longing. You wake up reaching for someone who no longer exists in your life, and yet, somehow, they still live rent-free in your mind. This isn't weakness. It's humanity. But what if the Stoics were right? That suffering doesn't come from events, but from how we choose to see them. The Stoics, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, all faced loss, betrayal, heartbreak. Yet they did not escape it. They transformed it. To them, letting go wasn't surrender. It was mastery. Mastery over the one thing we truly own, our mind. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, Seneca wrote. To let go, then, is to return to what is real. This video is not about forgetting. It's about remembering your strength. Together, we'll walk through 10 Stoic rules for letting go, not to erase the past, but to reclaim your peace. Because the goal is not to win them back, but to come back to yourself. By the end, you'll understand, letting go isn't losing. It's choosing peace over chaos, truth over illusion, self-respect over longing. Principle 1. Accept what's out of your hands. We spend so much of our lives trying to control the uncontrollable. People's emotions, their choices, their love. We replay conversations in our heads, crafting better endings, softer words, alternate timelines. But no matter how vividly we imagine them, those worlds don't exist. Letting go isn't giving up. It's ending a war that can't be won. Like a tree shedding its leaves when the season turns, it doesn't resist. It trusts the cycle. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." This is the core of Stoic peace. You can't control how others feel, what they say, or how they treat you, but you can control your perception, your reaction, your will. When you accept this, the noise quiets. You stop trying to fix the storm outside and start tending to the calm within. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote nightly reminders to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Imagine him in his tent, the wind howling, soldiers anxious, betrayal brewing, and yet, his hand writes calmly across the page. He knew peace wasn't the absence of storms, but composure within them. The battle he fought most was the one no one saw, the war within. Today, this lesson is more vital than ever. You can't control the message they didn't reply to. You can't control why they left, or if they ever look back. But you can control how long you let their absence define you. Accepting what's out of your hands is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you stop chasing control, you start reclaiming energy. You begin to live lighter, freer, truer. Principle 2. Stop romanticizing what hurt you. We often replay our past like a film, but only the highlight reel. The laughter, the late-night talks, the way their eyes softened when they looked at us. We forget the silence, the distance, the small betrayals that slowly crack the foundation. Memory is a master editor. It cuts out the pain to preserve the illusion of beauty. But the Stoics remind us, truth heals, illusion binds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if someone does wrong, it is because they do not know what is right. The Stoic response to pain is not hatred, but clarity. Stop idealizing the one who hurt you. See them not as gods or villains, but as humans, flawed, fragile, learning. Compassion doesn't mean denial. It means seeing clearly without illusion. When you see the truth, attachment dissolves on its own. Seneca once mentored a young noble who betrayed him for power. Instead of revenge, Seneca wrote, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. He didn't romanticize the friendship that failed. He used it to understand himself. The Stoic doesn't rewrite the past with nostalgia. He rewrites his response with wisdom. Today, nostalgia is a form of self-hypnosis. We scroll through old photos, reread messages, replay songs that once felt sacred. But each click feeds the ghost, not the soul. To heal, you must see things not as they were imagined, but as they were lived. The relationship ended for a reason. Honor that reason. Let the truth free you. Because you cannot build peace on a memory that lied. Principle 3. Create distance to regain clarity. When you're too close to something, everything blurs. Love, pain, reason, self. You check their profile, read between their silences, search for signs where there are none. You become addicted to the noise of connection, even when it's hurting you. Distance isn't abandonment, it's medicine. Just as the ocean clears after the storm, the heart clears when you stop chasing echoes. Epictetus taught, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish. Sometimes distance makes you look cold, but it's clarity that's misunderstood as indifference. The Stoic knows that space isn't avoidance, it's awareness. Only by stepping back can you see the full picture, the truth unwarped by emotion. Distance turns reaction into reflection. There's a Stoic parable. An archer releases his arrow. The flight is no longer in his hands. If the wind shifts, he accepts it. His duty was the aim, not the outcome. In the same way, when love leaves, your task ends where your control ends. The distance between you and what you can't change isn't failure, it's freedom. You can't steer the wind, but you can steady your bow. Today, distance is an act of courage. Don't check their stories. Don't reread the messages. Don't orbit their world hoping to be noticed. Every step away is a step back to yourself. The Stoics remind us, you can't hear your own voice if you never leave the crowd. Protect your silence. In silence, truth speaks. In distance, peace returns. Principle 4. Master your reactions, not there. When someone hurts you, your first instinct is to react, defend, explain, prove your worth. But every reaction hands them the strings to your peace. The Stoics teach, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom. You can't control what they do, but you can control what you become because of it. The strongest soul isn't the loudest, it's the one that remains calm in chaos. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics weren't emotionless, they were disciplined. To master reaction is not to suppress feeling, but to choose its direction. Anger, sadness, fear, they are natural. But wisdom decides whether they become weapons or lessons. One day, a soldier brought Marcus terrible news, betrayal in his ranks. The court expected rage, punishment, outburst. But Marcus simply nodded and said, then we must act justly. His composure disarmed fear itself. In that moment, he ruled not by crown, but by calm. Power built on reaction crumbles. Power built on restraint endures. Today, people test your calm daily. Online comments, cold replies, silent treatments. Don't give away your energy to every trigger. Pause. Breathe. Choose your response like a craftsman shaping gold. Emotional control is not denial, it's direction. When you master your reaction, no one can steal your peace again. That's real power, quiet, unshakable, free. Principle 5. Redefine love as something you give, not chase. We often mistake love for transaction. I give, so you must return. But that isn't love, it's bargaining. True love, the Stoics say, is not a pursuit but a virtue. It exists in the giving, not in the getting. When you stop chasing validation, love stops being exhausting and becomes sacred, something you offer because it's who you are, not what you want. Seneca wrote, he who does good for gratitude's sake has already been paid. The Stoics saw love not as possession but as practice, an act of moral beauty. To love virtuously means to love without demand, without fear, without control. When love is pure, even unreturned affection becomes a teacher, showing you your own depth, not your lack. A Roman scholar once asked his teacher, how do I stop loving someone who does not love me back? The teacher replied, you do not stop, you purify. He pointed to a river and said, Does the river demand that the sea return its flow? It gives because giving is its nature. Love, too, must flow without expectation, strong, free, unpossessive. That is how the wise remain gentle in a world that forgets how to love. In our age of instant messages and constant validation, love has become a chase. We want replies, reassurance, proof. But real love is not control. It's courage to give without grasping, to care without clinging. When you redefine love as something you give, not chase, you stop bleeding for what doesn't bleed for you. You become the source, not the seeker. Principle 6. Don't confuse pain with connection. Many people mistake pain for proof that love still exists. The ache becomes a ghost, whispering that something real must remain because it still hurts. But pain isn't always connection. Often it's resistance. It's the heart holding onto what the soul has already released. The Stoics would tell us, the wound is not the bond. It's the sign that healing has begun. Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. We suffer not because someone left, but because we believe their leaving means we are unworthy. Pain is not punishment, it's perception. Once you change how you interpret it, pain loses its power. It becomes not a prison, but a teacher. The Stoics compared pain to fire. It burns, but it also refines. When metal enters flame, it doesn't curse the heat. It becomes stronger. Seneca once wrote to his friend Lucilius, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests the brave." When you mistake pain for love, you keep yourself in the fire forever. But when you understand pain as transformation, you emerge as gold, purified, not destroyed. In our world, pain is often mistaken for passion. We chase the intensity, not realizing it's the echo of attachment, not the presence of love. Healing begins when you stop mistaking turmoil for depth. Peace is not boring, it's sacred. The Stoics teach us, to outgrow pain is not to harden, but to soften intelligently. Feel everything, but cling to nothing. Principle 7. Focus on who you're becoming, not who you've lost. When someone leaves, the world feels quieter, but not peaceful. You wake up reaching for a memory that no longer exists. That emptiness isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. In losing them, life is asking, who will you become now? The Stoics remind us, endings are not destruction, they're redirection. The space they left behind is the soil for your rebirth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoic path transforms obstacles into opportunities. Loss reveals the spaces in you that long to grow. Every heartbreak is a teacher whispering, you are not broken, you are being reshaped. The self you're becoming is stronger, wiser, more anchored in truth than the one who was loved by them. In ancient Rome, after losing his fortune and friends, Seneca was exiled to a barren island. Alone, stripped of status, he found something priceless, his essence. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." In isolation, he became unbreakable. Like a phoenix, he learned that ashes aren't the end, they're the beginning of flight. Today, we measure loss by absence, but the Stoics measure it by transformation. Don't mourn the chapter that ended, write the next one. Turn the energy you gave to them into building your own peace, your own purpose. Who you are becoming is far more important than who you've lost. You are not what you've lost, you are what you choose to rise from. Principle 8. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you build, quietly, daily, within. The Stoics saw peace as the highest wealth, one that can't be taken unless you hand it over. When you protect your peace, you protect your sanity, your clarity, your soul. Treat it like a sacred temple. Not everyone deserves to enter. Epictetus said, "When someone provokes you, remember that it is your judgment that troubles you." The Stoic mind is like a fortress, strong, not rigid, open, but guarded. Protecting your peace doesn't mean isolation, it means discernment. You decide who has access to your thoughts, your time, your heart. Choose wisely. Peace is too costly to waste on chaos. When critics accused Marcus Aurelius of weakness, He didn't argue. He smiled in silence. His peace wasn't indifference, it was mastery. He knew reacting gives power, while silence preserves it. The Stoics understood, the more you value your peace, the less you explain yourself. Silence isn't retreat, it's rule. In the modern world, peace is stolen by 1,000 small intrusions, texts, demands, noise. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. Don't reply to manipulation. Don't reopen closed doors. Don't let the old chaos re-enter in the name of closure. Set your boundaries like sacred lines in the sand. The Stoics would say, a peaceful life is not a weak one, it's a disciplined one. Principle 9. Don't seek closure from someone who couldn't give you clarity. We often wait for closure like waiting for spring, believing peace will only come once they explain, once they apologize, once they understand. But the truth is, if they couldn't give you clarity in love, they won't give it in goodbye. The real closure doesn't come from their words, it comes from your acceptance. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. The Stoic never waits for others to validate their peace. Closure is a decision, not a dialogue. It's when you stop needing their explanation to trust your truth. The moment you accept that silence is an answer, you are finally free. Marcus Aurelius once wrote letters he never sent, not to change others, but to release himself. Each unsent letter was a burial of anger, a quiet funeral for expectation. He knew that writing to understand is wiser than speaking to be understood. Sometimes peace begins when you stop waiting for their reply and start answering your own soul. Today, closure isn't a message, it's a mindset. You don't need to see them one last time or hear them say, I'm sorry. You can close the story yourself. Their silence no longer defines your worth, your peace does. The ending doesn't need to be perfect, it only needs to be honest. You are allowed to walk away without permission. Principle 10. Choose freedom over fantasy. The hardest chains to break are made of what if. What if they come back? What if I was the problem? What if this pain means something more? But fantasy is the mind's way of avoiding truth. The Stoics would remind us, you can't live in two worlds, the imagined and the real. Freedom begins the moment you choose what is over what was. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Fantasy tries to rewrite what's already written. Reality asks for courage, the courage to accept. The Stoic doesn't chase perfection, he honors truth. To live in what is means to find peace in imperfection. The mind that sees clearly is the mind that is free. A Roman philosopher once dreamed of his lost love calling his name. When he awoke, he didn't chase the dream, he bowed to it. Even dreams, he wrote, teach us to let go. The Stoic learns from both presence and absence. To awaken is to thank the dream, then open your eyes to life itself. For reality, no matter how raw, is still more sacred than illusion. Today, freedom isn't the absence of love, it's the absence of illusion. You are free when you stop rehearsing old scenes and start writing new ones. Let the past stay where it belongs. Reality, even when imperfect, is where your life truly exists. Choose it, because when you stop living for what could have been, you finally start living for what is. Conclusion, the art of letting go. Every rule you've heard today points to one truth. Peace is not found by controlling, chasing, or fixing. It's found by releasing. The Stoics didn't run from pain, they walked through it with open eyes. Letting go is not forgetting, it's remembering wisely. Every heartbreak, every silence, every ending has shaped you into someone more aware, more grounded, more free. True strength isn't loud. It doesn't need to prove, to plead, or to be seen. Strength is the quiet decision to choose peace over chaos, presence over illusion, dignity over desire. You don't heal by winning someone back. You heal by winning yourself back. The Stoics knew, calm is not weakness. Calm is control. Don't just understand these rules, live them. When your thoughts spiral, pause. When your emotions rise, breathe. When you want to reach back, look forward. Every moment you choose calm, you train your soul. Letting go is not an act of forgetting, but a daily discipline of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the future, faith that peace is possible. Letting go isn't losing, it's choosing. You didn't lose them, you found yourself. You didn't fail, you evolved. The real test isn't whether they loved you back, it's whether you can still love yourself after they didn't. Because peace isn't given, it's built. One breath, one truth, one act of courage at a time. Herb.